Rejection. Everyone dreads it, everyone lives through it, and yet the Stoics saw it not as a curse, but as one of life's sharpest teachers, a hidden advantage disguised as pain. It can feel like a verdict stamped on your soul. The sting of a blunt no. The silence of being ghosted. The cold email that reads, "We've chosen someone else." Each moment can shrink you, leaving you restless, unworthy, and trapped in your own doubt. And that doubt, it doesn't just whisper. It builds walls, locking you inside a prison of your own making. But here's the shift. Today, you'll learn 13 Stoic lessons that will show you how to break that prison apart, stone by stone, and rebuild it into a fortress of strength. This isn't hype. This isn't shallow motivation. This is a playbook. How to reframe rejection so that instead of cutting you down, it carves you into something unshakable. All I ask is the next half hour. Stay with me. And if by the end you don't walk away with tools that transform the way you face rejection, I'll take your critiques in the comments. So let's begin. Because rejection isn't the closing of your story. It's the opening chapter of your rebirth. Now, a warning, some of these lessons may sound simple. Others will make you think easier said than done. But don't skip ahead. Each lesson is a single blade. On its own, sharp enough, but when you see how all 13 fit together, you'll have an armory, and rejection will never strike you the same way again. Lesson 1. Ignore the insults. Guard your core. Rejection rarely shows up alone. It drags along its companions, criticism, gossip, sometimes outright mockery, and the reflex is instant. Defend yourself, argue, fire back. But the Stoics knew the paradox. The second you react, you hand them proof that their words reached your core. They compared insults to smoke. If you stand there inhaling it, you choke. But step away, and it vanishes into nothing. Epictetus, born into chains, scarred by slavery, yet unbroken, taught this razor-sharp response. If someone tells you a certain person speaks ill of you, do not make excuses. Instead say, "He does not know my other faults, else he would not have mentioned these alone." That's not arrogance, that's strength. It's the voice of someone who knows, "I am my own fiercest critic. You can't wound me with scraps." Fast forward to today. You post something online and a faceless stranger throws shade your way. Do you waste your night in a pointless digital duel, typing rebuttals for someone who won't even remember they wrote the comment? Or do you let it drift past like smoke in the wind while you keep building, creating, moving forward? The Stoic move is clear. Refuse to be their mirror. When you don't reflect back their venom, you don't just keep your peace. You expose their weakness, because nothing disarms an insult faster than indifference. Section 2. Detach from them. Rejection as redirection. The second lesson, you must detach. But why does rejection hurt so much in the first place? It's because we chain our identity to another person's approval. When they reject us, we don't just lose an opportunity. We feel like we've lost a piece of ourselves. We think their no is a verdict on our worth. But that is a lie we tell ourselves. Picture a sailor caught in a violent storm. The untrained sailor fights the waves, screaming at the sky, wasting his strength against a force he cannot control. The wise sailor doesn't fight the wind. He adjusts his sails. He uses the very same energy that threatened to destroy him to propel him forward to a new destination. That is detachment. The Stoics framed rejection not as an ending, but as a redirection. The emperor, Marcus Aurelius, wrote in his private journal, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." That door that just slammed shut in your face. It wasn't the end of your path. It was the universe forcefully showing you that your true path lies elsewhere. The job you didn't get frees you up for a role that will actually fulfill you. The person who ghosted you just cleared the stage for someone who is capable of real connection. This isn't a dead end. It's the universe editing your story, cutting out a character who wasn't meant for the next chapter. Detach. Stop clinging to the person or the opportunity that rejected you. Every ounce of energy you waste obsessing over what's gone is energy stolen from building what is yet to come. Lesson 3. Master emotional control. Fortify the inner citadel. Rejection lights the nervous system like a flare. For most people, that spark becomes a wildfire, uncontrolled, loud, and destructive. But fire isn't the villain. In the hands of a smith, the same flame hardens steel. The difference isn't the heat, it's the handler. Marcus Aurelius wrote it plain. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. You don't control the no, the ghost, the decision in the room you weren't in. You control the story you attach to it and the move you make next. Here's your Stoic circuit breaker. Pause the instant the hit lands. Don't text, don't post, don't explain. Take 3 deliberate breaths. On the 3rd exhale, say to yourself, external event. Ask 2 questions. What's the fact? What story am I adding to the fact? Promotion, example. Fact, they chose someone else. Story, I'm invisible. I'll be stuck here forever. The first is data, the second is a hallucination. Which one deserves your next move? Feel the burn, but don't feed it. Step back long enough to choose a response that serves you. Sharpen the skill that was exposed. Book the meeting you've avoided. Update the portfolio that actually proves your value. Precision beats panic. In a world addicted to instant reactions, composure is a flex. The untrained mind thrashes, bleeds credibility, and hands over its power. The Stoic mind absorbs the blow, stays on its feet, and turns pain into a plan. Calm isn't passivity. Calm is control. Calm is the power move. If this is already hitting you, do me a favor. Tap that like button, not just for me, but so more people trapped in their own storms can find this video and learn how to face rejection with strength. Now let's keep going. Lesson 4. Demonstrate your value. The drive for personal development. The 4th lesson, turn rejection into a stage, not a coffin. For most people, rejection signals retreat. They shrink, they hide, they take it as confirmation that they aren't enough. But the Stoic flips rejection into raw fuel. Picture the phoenix. It doesn't just survive the fire, it requires the fire. The ashes aren't an ending, they're the beginning of a transformation more powerful than the life that came before. Rejection is that fire. What you do next is your rising. Seneca captured this perfectly. It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that things are difficult. Rejection is a dare, a challenge thrown at your feet by life itself. The question is simple. Will you cower from it, or will you rise to meet it with sharper weapons than you had before? And here's the Stoic distinction that most people miss. This isn't about revenge. If you're just trying to prove them wrong, you're still enslaved by their opinion. The real aim is higher, to prove yourself right. Imagine you're an aspiring writer. You pour your soul into a manuscript only to get that dreaded rejection letter. The revenge-driven path says, I'll show them one day. The Stoic path is immediate, relentless. You go back to the desk that very day and ask, how do I sharpen this? How do I make this story so undeniable that the next publisher cannot possibly look away? Modern parallel, think of Michael Jordan, cut from his high school team. Most would sulk, complain, quit. He went to the gym daily with obsession. He didn't train to prove a coach wrong. He trained to prove his future self right. That's the Stoic response. Rejection isn't a muzzle, it's a spotlight, a quiet stage, waiting for you to fill it with undeniable action. Don't hide, don't beg, don't obsess over who said no, demonstrate. Lesson 5. Reduce contact. A statement of self-respect. The fifth lesson is one of the most difficult but also the most liberating. Reduce or even cut off contact. Chasing after someone who rejected you is like trying to fill a bucket riddled with holes. No matter how much time, energy, or dignity you pour in, it all leaks away, leaving you drained and empty. This isn't a petty, silent treatment. It's a declaration, a line in the sand, a statement of self-respect that says, your validation does not outweigh my peace of mind. Epictetus taught that wisdom comes from knowing what's in our control and what isn't. Their decision to reject you, not yours to control. Your decision to walk away, to guard your energy, to stop bleeding yourself dry. That is entirely yours. In today's world, this is called the no-contact principle, and it may be the single greatest tool for healing, because you cannot heal a wound you keep scratching open. Every time you stalk their profile, reread old messages, or engineer a chance encounter, you're pouring salt into the same cut. Distance is discipline. It's choosing to give your heart space to recalibrate. And paradoxically, absence often says more than any clever text or speech ever could. Silence communicates a truth words rarely capture. My worth is not a negotiation. I heard your decision, and I accept it. Now, I choose to invest in myself. And here's the beauty. This isn't about pretending they don't exist. It's about reclaiming your own existence. Because when you reduce contact, you're not cutting them off. You're cutting yourself free. Lesson 6. Build capability, turning weakness into strength. The sixth lesson is this. Rejection isn't just something to endure. It's data. It's a diagnosis. It's a spotlight showing you exactly where you were unprepared. Most people treat rejection as a closed door. The Stoic treats it as a blueprint. Seneca captured it. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. Rejection often means you weren't fully prepared for that opportunity. It doesn't mean you're cursed. It doesn't mean you'll never succeed. It means your training isn't finished. Picture a blacksmith at the forge. Each strike of the hammer looks brutal, even destructive, but with every blow, the sword takes shape. The impurities are burned out, the edges are strengthened, the blade becomes unbreakable. Rejection is that hammer. Every no isn't a death sentence. It's a strike shaping you into something sharper than before. And this isn't just philosophy, it's history. Michael Jordan, one of the greatest athletes to walk the earth, was cut from his high school varsity team. At that moment, he could have folded, but instead, he carried that rejection like a burning coal in his chest. He turned it into fuel. While others rested, he trained. While others slept, he practiced. That failure didn't define him. His response to it did. Here's your Stoic assignment. Treat rejection as a post-mortem. Analyze it without ego. Ask yourself, what weakness did this expose? Did I fail to communicate clearly? Was my skill incomplete? Did I even want what I was chasing? Or was I misaligned all along? Brutal honesty here is freedom, because once you know the weak point, you can forge it into strength. Rejection isn't a verdict on your past. It's a training manual for your future. Each no is a hammer strike. The question is, will you let it break you, or will you let it forge you? Lesson 7. Seek joy anyway, the discipline of well-being. The seventh lesson is one of defiance. Deliberately seek joy. To the Stoics, the ultimate aim was eudaimonia, human flourishing. And they knew something we often forget. Joy isn't a mood you stumble into. It isn't handed out by fate. Joy is a discipline, a daily practice, and it matters most when life feels the hardest. Because here's what usually happens. You get rejected. You shut down. You isolate. You replay the wound until it festers. That spiral feels natural, but it's poison. The Stoic response: acknowledge the sting, and then do the opposite. When life tempts you to collapse, you stand. Joy becomes your rebellion. This isn't about plastering on a fake smile or chanting empty affirmations. It's about understanding a deeper truth, one modern psychology has confirmed. Action precedes emotion. You don't wait to feel joy. You create it through what you do. Think about it. You don't feel like going to the gym, but you drag yourself there anyway and leave stronger, lighter. You don't feel like answering that call from a friend, but you do. And suddenly laughter breaks through the storm cloud over your head. The act comes first, the feeling follows. Here's your Stoic prescription. Create a joy list. Right now, write down 5 to 10 activities that genuinely restore you, not shallow distractions, but soul-level renewals. Hiking, playing an instrument, reading in silence. A meal with someone who makes you laugh until your ribs hurt. And the next time rejection hits, you don't argue with yourself. You don't wallow. You open the list and you schedule one of those activities like it's a doctor's order you cannot miss, because joy isn't indulgence. Joy is strategy. Joy is survival. Rejection dares you to shrivel. Seeking joy is how you dare it back. Lesson 8. Build status. Quietly, the tree that grows in silence. The 8th lesson is subtle but powerful. Build your status without seeking a single clap of approval. Picture a giant redwood tree. It doesn't post updates about its growth. It doesn't demand recognition from the forest. Season after season, year after year, it simply grows. Its roots sink deeper, its trunk expands. Until one day, its presence is undeniable. The redwood doesn't need attention to prove itself. It simply is. This is the Stoic model for growth after rejection. Because here's the trap. When someone dismisses you, the reflex is to get loud, to broadcast every minor win, to flex on social media, to hope that the person who rejected you notices. See what you're missing. But this still keeps you tethered to them. It turns your progress into performance instead of transformation. Marcus Aurelius cut through this noise when he wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one, don't just talk about growth. Don't stage manage it. Embody it, quietly, relentlessly." Here's the paradox. The person obsessed with showing progress rarely commands respect, but the one who builds in silence becomes magnetic. They don't have to prove themselves. Their presence does the proving. People are drawn not to noise, but to substance. So here's your Stoic challenge. Choose one domain of your life and commit to a silent growth project for the next 90 days. It could be learning a skill that scares you, transforming your body through disciplined training, building a project from the ground up. And here's the key. Tell no one except maybe one trusted mentor. No social media posts, no attention seeking, just pure silent work. At the end of those 90 days, the progress won't be an announcement. It'll be a fact, a piece of you that no rejection can diminish. Now I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below. Which of these lessons has hit the hardest so far? Share your story. It may be exactly what someone else here needs to hear. And if you haven't already, subscribe so you don't miss the rest of this Stoic series on building an unbreakable mind. Let's continue. Lesson 9. Reciprocal indifference, the martial art of the soul. The 9th lesson is a masterclass in emotional self-defense. Reciprocal indifference. When someone meets you with silence, rejection, or cold detachment, your instinct may be to respond with force, anger, pleading, or desperate attempts to pull them back. But the Stoic strategy is different. You don't chase, You don't beg. You don't fight for scraps. You mirror their indifference, letting their energy pass through you without leaving a mark. Think of a martial artist in the ring. When an opponent throws a wild punch, the untrained fighter stiffens, collides, and gets rattled. But the master knows better. He doesn't always block. Sometimes the most powerful move is no move at all. A simple sidestep, letting the opponent's force carry them off balance, wasting their energy. That is how you handle the force of someone's indifference. Marcus Aurelius nailed it. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. If someone disregards you and you react with rage or panic, you've already become their reflection. You've let their choices dictate your emotions. You've validated their power over you. The Stoic response? Calm withdrawal, a silent reclaiming of your energy. This isn't a petty contest of who cares less. It's something deeper, a statement of dignity. I was willing to offer my time and attention. You showed you didn't value it. I accept your signal, and I will now reserve my energy for what does matter. It's the ultimate power move, because it isn't really a move at all. It's the refusal to play the game. While they waste their momentum trying to unbalance you, you remain unmoved, centered, calm, untouchable. Lesson 11. Never beg for attention. The art of self-mastery. The 11th lesson is simple, but it separates those who command respect from those who give it away. Never beg for attention. Epictetus made it plain. No man is free who is not master of himself. Begging for attention is surrender. It's a public declaration that someone else holds the keys to your peace. You stop being the master of your own house, and instead, you live as their tenant, waiting for scraps of validation. You see it everywhere. The double text after being left on read. The late night, did you see my post? Status update written for one pair of eyes. The endless labor at a job where your boss has already decided you're invisible. And yet you stay, chasing recognition that never comes. Every move whispers the same message. Please see me. Please validate me. I am not enough without you. But the Stoic flips this script. Instead of begging, he redirects. That desperate energy becomes fuel for mastery. He turns to his craft, his training, his passions, until one day he realizes he's so immersed in building his own world, he no longer has time to wonder who's watching. And here's the paradox. When you stop performing for attention, you become magnetic. People are drawn to the person who radiates focus and quiet confidence, the one too busy mastering themselves to chase applause. Here's your practical test. Take a 1-week attention vow. No reaching out to the one who rejected you. No carefully engineered social media posts designed to make them notice. Every thought, every ounce of energy you would have wasted seeking their attention. Redirect it into one specific project. Journal your progress. Train a skill. Build something that proves to you what your attention is worth. At the end of that week, you'll have something tangible to point to, not a trail of unread texts or ignored posts, but proof that you're capable of building without begging, proof that your worth was never theirs to grant in the first place. That is the art of self-mastery. Lesson 11. Never beg for attention. The art of self-mastery. The 11th lesson is one of the hardest to live by, but one of the most liberating once mastered. Never beg for attention. Epictetus warned us, no man is free who is not master of himself. Begging for attention is self-imposed slavery. The moment you plead for someone's gaze, you chain your worth to their approval. You hand them the keys to your own prison, and then you wonder why you feel trapped. And this trap is everywhere in the digital age. It's the double text after you've been left on read. It's the photo or status update designed for an audience of one. It's grinding away in a job where your boss has already decided not to see you, yet you keep bending yourself into knots, hoping for recognition that will never come. Each act whispers the same silent confession: please validate me. I can't validate myself. The Stoic path is freedom through focus. Redirect that desperate energy inward. Become so absorbed in your own mission, your own craft, your own passions, that you forget you ever craved their attention in the first place. The more you pour into building your own world, the less you notice who isn't watching. And here's the paradox. When you stop chasing eyes, eyes begin to follow you. Quiet mastery attracts, noise repels. People are drawn to those too consumed with their own purpose to beg for an audience. Here's your practical challenge. Take a 1-week attention vow. No reaching out, no social media posts designed to sting the one who rejected you. Every ounce of that energy gets reinvested into a single project or pursuit. By the end of the week, you'll have proof in your hands. Not a trail of ignored texts, but a visible marker of growth. A reminder that your worth is not theirs to grant, and never was. That's the art of self-mastery. No begging, no pleading. Just building. Lesson 12. Kindness with distance, the lighthouse principle. The 12th lesson is a mark of emotional maturity and power. Practice kindness with distance. Picture a lighthouse. It shines its light to all ships, guiding them through storms and darkness. But it doesn't get angry at the ships that sail away. It doesn't leave its post to chase after them. It stays anchored, steady, rooted in its purpose. Its light is a gift, not a plea. This is how the Stoic handles rejection. You don't turn bitter. You don't plot revenge. You remain civil, composed, even kind, but you never again allow them unrestricted access to your energy. You protect the fortress of your inner world while keeping the gates polite and orderly. Modern life is filled with moments that test this. You bump into the person who rejected you. They send a casual message. They appear at the same gathering. Most people either recoil with visible hostility or overcompensate with false warmth. The Stoic takes a third path: calm civility. A polite greeting, a steady composure, no drama, no opening of the gates. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best way of avenging yourself is not to become like the wrongdoer. Kindness with distance honors this. You are pleasant, but you do not bend. Respectful, but not vulnerable. You offer your light, but you don't allow them to draw power from your source again." Here's your practical script. "Hello, hope you're doing well," paired with a nod or a small smile, and then you continue walking. You decide when the interaction ends. Short, civil, controlled. This isn't coldness. It's composure. It's the lighthouse principle. Shine, if you wish, but never drift from your foundation. Lesson 13. Keep struggles private. The counsel of trust. The final lesson is about restraint, the discipline to keep your struggles private. Today, in a culture addicted to oversharing, it's easy to confuse vulnerability with broadcasting. But when you put every wound on display, you often weaken your position. To the wrong audience, your pain looks like desperation, or worse, an invitation to exploit you. The Stoics practiced composed endurance, bearing life's weight with dignity. This doesn't mean you must suffer in silence. Vulnerability is necessary, but it must be intentional. Seneca urged, "Associate with those who will make a better man of you." Not everyone. Not the crowd. Only the select few who sharpen you. That's the principle of the counsel of trust. You share your struggles, but only with those who have earned the right to hear them. A close friend, a mentor, a family member who truly wants your growth. These are the people who challenge you, steady you, remind you of your strength. To everyone else, you present composure. Not as a mask, but as a discipline. You refuse to let rejection become your public identity. Practical application. Write down 2 or 3 names. Your counsel. The next time rejection burns and you feel the urge to vent publicly, bring it to your counsel first. Talk it through. Process it. This keeps your dignity intact while still giving you the support you need. Your struggles are real, but not everyone deserves front-row access to them. The world will see your steadiness. Your counsel will see your wounds. That balance is where true power lies. 13 lessons, 13 tools to turn rejection into rebirth. We've seen that rejection is not a verdict on your worth. It's a redirection, a teacher, a fire that will either consume you or forge you into something stronger. The choice, as it always is in Stoicism, is yours. You can let the opinions of others place a ceiling on your life, or you can use their rejection as fuel to rocket past it. You can view a slammed door as a wall or as a signpost pointing toward the path you were meant to walk. The pain of rejection is real, but suffering, that is optional. Today, you've been handed a new script, one where you are not the casualty of rejection, but the architect of your own transformation, where every no from the outside world only makes your inner yes burn brighter. They can reject your work, your effort, even your presence, but they cannot reject your ultimate freedom, your power to choose your response. And in that choice, you are untouchable. Now, it's your turn. If you're ready to stop letting rejection define you, drop the words "strength in adversity" in the comments. Let's build a brotherhood and sisterhood of modern Stoics, a fortress of individuals who are quietly mastering themselves in a noisy world. And if you want to keep forging this mindset, subscribe now and turn on notifications, because this is only the beginning. The road ahead is long, but together we'll walk it with discipline, courage, and clarity. Stay steady, stay grounded, stay stoic.